final table stream than having two people at the same final table streaming together. And what I really wanted to happen was to go 1 and 2. You know, even if I lost to David Skolansky, okay, fine. I'll lose to a 3-time bracelet winner who has been thinking and studying and, you know, changing this game since before I was even born. I feel like, you know, a lot of the current state of poker, we can draw a direct line from Skolansky's contribution to poker to where it is today. And despite all of you know, my past history with 2+2, which, you know, a lot of it has been negative, I have utmost respect for Mason and Skolansky as players, theorists, and people. I wish that I wasn't on the wrong side of that, because I think that, you know, I think that you know, if things were a little bit different, you know, who knows? Who knows? Maybe David Skolansky and I would be best friends. So please, you know, take the contest for the spirit that it was made in. It was all about, you know, good fun. It wasn't trying to root against somebody. I don't consider Skolansky a personal enemy of mine. So take that for what for what you will. Okay, we got I Love Vegas in chat saying, wow, that's why you are who you are. Great laydown, Dutch. I guess you're talking about the ace-queen suited. Thank you. You know, thank you. I feel good about that one. It's always nice to make a laydown like that and then actually be able to confirm that it was the right laydown. You know, because it always feels wrong to fold. We are on break, 3 minutes, 30 seconds, so I'm going to go ahead and give a... I'm going to go ahead and just take a little breather. And we're going to go ahead and just pop this down a little bit.
No, it turned off. Turned off again.
It turned off? Really?
Yeah, whatever you did.
It looks like it dropped a couple of frames. That's all. Yeah, you guys, it's just dropping frames. I don't exactly know why it does what it does. We're going to get this Twitch thing perfect down the line, but we are still streaming, so if I don't think that's dropping frames, that's a cutout. That's what Patriot88 says. I'm showing that we're still streaming and that we dropped 420 frames out of 211,000 frames encoded, so I think it's just a little bit of lag. Okay, so I've got 2.5 minutes until we're back from break, so I'm going to take I'm going to take a little bit of me time and go get a drink, maybe get another orange, think about my life, think about how different it would be if we're able to convert this 6th place into something big. Okay, so thank you guys. I'll be right back.
Can you put up the lobby, Russ?
What's that?
Can you put up the lobby?
I did, yeah.
Okay. I don't see anything.
I might have to refresh. I probably should have offered you an iced coffee. Do you want one?
No. Thank you. I had to ban somebody. Why so salty?
Okay, you know what? We're going to go ahead and pop in another Twitter. getting fairly deep in the $30 rebuy that I'm streaming on Twitch. Come join the fun. Twitch.tv/Dutch Boyd on at WSOP. Okay, let's go ahead and Twitch that. Hey, let's go ahead and tweet that. And guys, listen, if you're enjoying the stream, help a player out. It doesn't take a lot to really make this worth my, make me feel good about spending my Wednesday streaming rather than just playing poker down on the strip. When it comes down to it, playing this is probably giving up a little bit of equity. I think that I'd probably be better off from just a monetary point of view, short term, by going down and playing 2-5 no limited Aria or Win or Bellagio. Certainly would be better off playing that Win Classic prelim today than playing this $30 rebuy. But I really believe in where Twitch is going. I do believe that Twitch TV could really be the future of poker. So
according to Jay Long Poker, he says that the reason why we're dropping is because we don't have it hardwired.
We don't have what hardwired?
We're doing it through the Wi-Fi.
Oh.
Do you want to hardwire?
Jay Longo. This is why we love you. Jay Longo Poker. This is why we love you. I think that you are absolutely right. Here we are, Wi-Fi streaming, and we're dropping frames. Why didn't I think of that? It's because I am a Twitch fish. So I'm not going to worry about it right now, okay? This Twitch feed is just going to have a few dropped frames here and there. We're doing okay. But for my next stream, we're going to be hardwired. And Jay Longo, thank you for the advice. This is why we love seeing you, and we love seeing you in the Twitch stream, kind of letting us know what we're doing wrong. So thank you, buddy. And what I was saying is this: if you want to support live streaming of poker tournaments on Twitch, like you're seeing right now, just take a second. Click on the follow button and go on Twitter and retweet this to whoever's listening to you. It really means a lot. This is the kind of viral thing that we're trying to do here, is trying to create poker into this spectator sport, and it lifts everything. It lifts everybody up. The more people who look at Twitch and say, you know what, I'm going to go on Twitch and I'm going to watch Somerville, I'm going to watch Boyd, I'm going to watch Jay Longo Poker, I'm going to watch all these, I'm going to watch Skolansky. I'm going to watch all these streams. I'm going to learn a little bit. It's going to get more people interested in our sport. And really, the end goal here is to get so many people watching poker that we're able to get outside money in. We want to get paid for playing outside of just trying to, fight through this negative sum game. I can't stress this enough, guys. We're playing in an environment where, 75% of people are going to be losing. And there's really only room at the top tier to eke out a tiny living playing what we love to play. Meanwhile, we got 30,000 people watching, Hearthstone, and more than that watching League of Legends. I would like to see a positive sum game. Poker can be positive sum, and this is the start of it. Is getting people to realize that this is a spectator mind sport right here. Wow. And we just saw RPG take a huge chunk off of the Lawsons. Wow. How did that happen? Okay, so did that get all in? It looks like the bulk of that got in on the river when M. Lawson went ahead and called off her stack with second pair, and RPG was kind of going along for the ride. Wow. That's just amazing. So what do we do here? We're going to go ahead and make it 3 times the big blind and hope that BCM Claw doesn't shove over the top of us. What do we do if BCM Claw shoves over the top of us for 11,000 more? And then we're sitting here with 9 high. We're probably going to have to fold. But we have a good enough hand where we're not going to just let him see a free flop. We're not about to start, just limping in the small blind. We're going to go ahead and take a shot. And, most of BCM Claw's holdings, he's going to go ahead and want to take a flop with us and call. He's going to be in position. I can't really think of a lot of hands where if I'm in BCM Quad's seat right there that I'm folding. But we like 8-9 suited. That's a pretty decent hand when everyone folds to us in the small blind. Definitely worth taking a shot at picking it up without a flop. And again, we change our pre-flop raise amount when we're in a small blind versus big blind situation because we want to discourage them from calling. We don't really want to play a hand out of position against the big blind. So we're making it 3 times the big blind instead of 2 times the big blind. Also, so we're going now up to 1,000, 500, 1,000. It's probably big enough at this point that we can go ahead and start with just min raises. Just straight 2,000 will be our standard pre-flop raise. You know, we could still kind of make it 2,100. You know, do we really care 2,100 versus 2,000? I don't think so. I think at this point, you know, especially with the small blind being only 1/5, you know, or the small blind being only 5 times the ante, I think it's okay that in the next hand when the levels go up to 500,000 ante 100, our standard pre-flop raise amount is going to be finally a straight min raise. So got a little iced coffee. Planning on being out for a while with y'all. The Pete X9. This is one of the most informative and interesting streams I've seen on poker. I can't tell you, Pete, how much that means to me. Thank you for saying that. Very detailed. Definitely will be tuning in more. Thank you, Dutch, for the great stream. You're welcome, Pete. You know, please click on the follow, and if you can, if you've got a Twitter account, do me a solid, man. Go ahead and get on there and retweet. You know, follow and retweet me. Dutch Boyd is my Twitter stream and Twitch stream. So I appreciate that you appreciate what we're doing here. Let's see. Sharing some knowledge, shedding some light, and the such. Fiddler, coming on. Definitely super appreciative of you streaming. Fiddler, thank you. I appreciate you, you know, spending your Wednesday with us and you know, taking this home, driving it home to the final table. This would be a nice, little tournament to take down. I gotta tell you, it doesn't matter how big your bankroll gets, a grand don't come for free. And in this case, we're looking at almost $2,000 for first. That's definitely a nice little score, no matter who you are. So $2,000 always feels pretty good. I would love to take this down. Ah. So let's go ahead and take a look at some more of these chats. What you drinking, Dutch Boyd? Says Joker Poker. That would be an iced coffee. It's very good. Have you ever seen a man drink an iced coffee? Mmm.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Inside joke. Maybe not that inside. An inside joke with me and 40,000 of our closest friends. Spreek je Nederlands Dutch? 9. Can't say I do speak Dutch. Says one of our friends from Amsterdam. I have been to Amsterdam. That is a beautiful place. Okay, so JTF254 asks the question, can you spend a little more time explaining the min raise versus 3 times when blinds creep up? So what we're talking about here, as the blinds go up, you know, further and further up, you have lower effective stacks compared to the blinds, right? So early on in a tournament, you're going to have maybe 100 big blinds, 150 big blinds deep. And that's, you know, average stacks. That's going to continue to go down and down until you're kind of later on in the tournament, where right now I think that we're one of the bigger stacks in the field, and we've got 50 big blinds, still a pretty healthy stack, right? But we've got a lot of these guys who are sitting here struggling with 3 big blinds, 5 big blinds, 10 big blinds. And so as you get further and further, where the implied odds kind of drop off, and the antes kick in and become, more valuable compared to your effective stack. What you can do is you can start lowering the amount you raise it. For one, lower raises will actually get through the big blinds, and for another, and that's what you're really trying to do is, get through the big blinds or get heads up with one of the blinds and take it down with a continuation bet. It's just a way to risk less of your stack as the chips kind of become more important to you, and more important to everybody else. Like we just saw right there, a min raise here with A7 suited actually got through the small blind and the big blind. They didn't actually even see a flop, and I don't blame them. When you're sitting here with 14,000 and you're looking down at some BS hand like 8-3 offsuit, do you really want to put in a significant percentage of your stack, 700, to see a flop? And then what are you going to do if you actually even hit it? So as the tournament progresses, you can smaller raise amounts will actually get through the big blind, so you don't have to make it 3 times anymore. You just kind of taper down as you get further into the tournament. And as far as when you're in the small blind versus the big blind, you don't want to make the same amount, your standard pre-flop raise, and you don't want to make the same standard pre-flop raise in the small blind when everyone folds to you against the big blind as you would if you were on the button or the cutoff or the hijack, because you're kind of just asking for trouble, letting the big blind play against you and you're going to be out of position for the rest of the hand. Position really matters in poker, especially big bet poker like we're playing right now. There's a pretty big advantage to being able to act last, being able to act after your opponent. That's right. That's why you'll see when we continuation bet, on the flop against, when we're heads up, we're continuation betting the same amount. But if we're continuation betting against, someone who's behind us, who has position on us, we're continuation betting actually half the pot rather than our standard pre-flop raise amount, which is what we're continuation betting if we find ourselves heads up against, the big blind or the small blind. So I hope that answers your question. So here we go. We've got a nice min raise from the button. We would expect them to do this. We're going to go ahead and call with pretty much any 2 cards here and play some poker. But 8-6 offsuit is actually a pretty nice hand to go ahead and see a flop with. And here we're going to go ahead and check raise if we actually hit something. And we might check raise even if we don't. Jack 4-2 is kind of a polarizing flop here. So let's go ahead and check raise the minimum and hope that he's sitting here with like an ace-8 offsuit and he's not going to want to fall down below 40,000. If he calls, do we continue with our bluff? I don't know. It looks like we don't even really have to think about it. We're just going to go ahead and fold and think about the 6,000 that we just wasted making a check raise bluff with 8 high. That sucks. Bin canned 8-8. I wonder what you had. Wow, and look at Cody 10 coming in with 4.3 times the big blind. I just don't understand that. What could he possibly have where that's a good move? He's gonna get us to fold the 5s. I'm not gonna risk 10% of my stack with pocket 5s, hoping that he has overcards, and we're making a little coin flip. This doesn't make any sense to me. We're at a point, and now he changes it up and he makes it 3.2. I don't understand it. I feel like, first off, I think it's a mistake to vary your pre-flop raise amounts, period. The fact that he made it 4.3, last hand, and now he makes it 3.2, that in and of itself is enough to earn him a bony fish next to his name. So now we get to actually see what happens. He made it 4.2 with something, and then he made it 3.2 with pocket 9s. We're going to go ahead and mark that at the 500, 1,100 level. Made it 3.2x big blind with 9-9 and called a 20 times big blind shove from small blind. You know, maybe that'll come in handy in the future. Maybe not. So, do we make a steal? No, we don't. You know, we kind of bled off little chips to bin K and 88 with our 8-6. Chances are RPG 333 is really not paying attention, but it doesn't really matter. We don't really have to make, we don't have to be making, moves against the chip leader.
Lobby.
Okay, so let's take a look. Let's go ahead and open up the lobby. We'll see where we're at here. So we're 9th out of 32. It pays 15. So about half of us in the field are going to get paid. We're in a pretty good spot. We've got the second chip leader at our table. A lot of actually pretty healthy stacks at our table. So let's see how it works. We've got Zizzy, which hasn't really been doing a lot of defending. We'll go ahead and try to pick on Zizzy's big blind again and see if we can't get through without a flop. If Zizzy shoves here, we're probably gonna fold for another 13,000. But this is good. This is actually it's also a pretty good flop for A6 offsuit. Instead of making it the same amount, we go ahead and make it half the pot against RPG 3-3. We hope that he doesn't keep on playing against us. We hope that he's just done with the hand, because this could get a little messy. We actually flopped something decent for our hand. Is he going to continue bluffing it out? Are we even ahead? Hard to say. But I think that there's enough hands here where, yes, we are ahead, that we're going to go ahead and call and see what he does on the turn. Right now, what can we beat? We can beat 5s, we can beat 4s, we can beat hands like ace 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're not beating 8, 9 anymore. We're not beating like a pocket 10s or a pocket jacks. We're not beating those hands. Are we ahead? It's hard to say. I feel like there's a decent chance that we are ahead. So we're going to go ahead and make the call again and see what he does. And is there any chance here that A6 is ahead? I think that if we check and he just fires out. I mean, why wouldn't he fire out? This is the problem here when we make that flop call, is when we make the flop call, we're betting we're ahead. We're saying we think we're ahead. So if he were to fire out and put us to the test, are we going to make the call? It's so hard to make that call on the river when it's like for all your chips. It's not the spot you want to be in, but yeah, we're making the call. We're going to make the call. If we're ahead on the flop, we're ahead on the turn, we're going to be ahead on the river. You guys can't see this, but I'm looking at the hand replay. It turns out that he had king 10 of hearts. So we were ahead the whole way. I think that, it would have been a really strong shove on his part on the end to go ahead and say, you know what? Make the decision. Go ahead and take it. If you're going to call me all 3 barrels, you're gonna have to put your whole stack at risk. I think that would have been a really strong shove on his part, but we're not folding. We're not folding because the river came and we still figure that we're ahead. So it turned out pretty good for us. It's one of those spots where you just kind of have to grab your balls and hope that you're ahead. And we were. So now we're looking pretty good. Let's take a look at the lobby. We are looking at 5th place. We showed him that we're not going to just be pushed around. Hopefully that will, kind of train him not to be being really, not to play back at us when it completely whiffs on a flop, So that was a fun hand because we were ahead every step of the way. Were we happy about it when he raised us on the flop? No. We much would have rather had it just continuation bet and have him fold, And hopefully, they're paying attention, writing notes on us, and realizing, okay, so when he continuation bets half the pot against a pre-flop caller who has position on him, sometimes he actually has it. Sometimes he actually did flop, middle pair with top, top kicker. So ace queen off suit under the gun, is it worth a raise? We're gonna say it is, especially when you have such a short stack in the big blind. This is such a good spot because there's a really good chance that Jaloin is going to go ahead and shove against us, and we're going to actually be able to show everybody our ace-queen offsuit. That's going to give credibility to any future re-raises that we make, assuming people are paying attention, which probably they're not. That's a pretty good spot to be in. Now we just hope to dodge that 3-outer. And we dodge it. Beautiful. Over 70,000 now, which is a pretty good stack. And just like that, well, now we get moved. So we are no longer the chip lead at our table, but it's okay. So we got some people talking about the ace-6 hand, and I'm going to say, for everyone saying, perfectly played, I appreciate legit Matthew. Looking back on it, maybe we should have just check-shoved on the turn. Maybe that's the way to have gone, because I kind of feel like, but no, I think that we played it right. I think that the move there is to go ahead and call on the turn, assuming that he's actually going to shove the river. And, having to call on the river would have been tough, but we would have done it. We've called with worse. This year at the series, I actually had to make 2 queen-high calls. and both times they were right, But we're not calling on the flop hoping to catch an ace or a 6. We're calling on the flop thinking that we're ahead. And actually thinking that there's a good chance that we're just crushing our opponent. There's a good chance that he's got a 6 with a 5 kicker, or pocket 5s, pocket 4s, that kind of hand, or the kind of hand that he had, which was just overcards. So would you call with ace-6 if he made a 3/4 bet on the river? Yes.
I get into how you started getting into Twitch and why you're on Twitch. So we asked that earlier.
So who asked it? Do you know?
Yeah, it's way back. I think it starts with an S.
Okay, so we had somebody with an S ask how I started getting on Twitch.
I'm looking. It's Searzist. Searzist.
Searzist asks, how did you start getting on Twitch?
Or decide to Twitch stream?
What made you think of or decide to Twitch stream?
Do you play other games as well?
Do you play other games as well? Like Hearthstone?
Yeah, Hearthstone.
Magic the Gathering.
Or things like that.
Yes, I do. And in fact, one of my proudest moments in the last month and a half was on Valentine's Day. I was in bed, kind of, still recovering from a hernia surgery, and that's why I didn't take, the love of my life out on the town. But she was fine with that. She let me play a Hearthstone, and I actually got a 12-win run, arena run. I can't tell you how excited I was when that happened. It felt, as thrilling as the last time I was at the last time I was at a final table of an online tournament. So, yeah, I do play Hearthstone. I play a little Magic Online. That Grand Prix that's coming up during the World Series is going to be pretty awesome, and it's too bad that there's a scheduling conflict, because I'm not planning on missing the World Series of Poker for a Magic the Gathering tournament. But I do love both of those games. Play a little Warcraft. Got a little level 100 Blood Elf Rogue. And how did I get into Twitch?
It was Vincent. We were at Werewolf game.
That's right.
Yeah.
We were playing Werewolf. Let me see if I've got the.
Before you do that, can you shrink your screen, because people can't see what you have, because your picture's too big.
Oh.
So,
yes, I can.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Let's go ahead and.
And then you can tell them all about Werewolf, which is one of the greatest.
Let's go ahead and
games
sit here.
in the world.
So yeah, we were playing this game called Werewolf over at a buddy's place, and that's the first time we met Vincent, who's Jason Somerville's boyfriend. And he was kind of telling us about how Jason had been doing some streaming on Twitch. I'd never heard of Twitch. I knew of Jason Somerville. He had kind of gotten a lot of attention for. I think Jason was the first poker player to actually publicly come out as gay. So when he did that, he got a lot of support. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I don't think Vanessa Selfs was ever in the closet, so I don't know. Okay, but I do know that when Jason Somerville came out as gay, he got a lot of attention in the poker world, and he actually found that we were very supportive of that decision to play and be honest and to himself and true to himself. And then he started twitching. I hadn't heard of twitching, but we were playing Werewolf with his boyfriend Vincent. And he was mentioning that he was having a lot of fun doing it, and so he was on the radar at that point. It wasn't until 2 weeks ago this Friday, where we went out to LA for the GPI conference and the American Poker Awards put on by Alex Dreyfus, that everyone there was talking about Twitch, and we got a chance to meet Scott Ball, who is the the Twitch poker ambassador. He's an employee over at Twitch and an ex esports guy who is in charge of setting up all the partnerships. We got a chance to meet Scott, and we got a chance to hear everyone's opinion on Twitch, which was that here is this thing that could potentially change poker and really transform it. It's something that's going to make poker a spectator sport like we all want it to be. And so that kind of got me perked up. It wasn't actually until watching one of the Twitch streams, HTOD was streaming some 2 cent, 5 cent on Bovada. Yay, taking it down with king high without the flop. That's what we want to see, boys. Keep it going. It wasn't until I saw HTOD do some streaming. Yeah, I fixed it. I changed my seat, so now I'm sitting at the bottom. That I really understood the power of Twitch. How when I would type something into a chat, and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to give you a shout out on Twitter," and he looks over and he's like, "Oh, Dutch Boyd." Someone put in his Twitch chat. He was like, "Are you the real Dutch Boyd, or are you just using that name?" And so HTOD, he's looking, and he's like, "Is Dutch Boyd? Are you somebody, buddy? Are you somebody, bro?" I'm like, okay. I love it. I love Twitch.
Can you just shrink the window?
Yeah.
They want you to shrink the window.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go and let's see how we do it. Sorry, guys. We're gonna go and shrink the window so you can see what Leonidas is doing. Hopefully, that's a little better. It wasn't until seeing H2O stream that it really hit me how powerful this was. Why this isn't just YouTube. This is something different. This is you and I spending Wednesday together. I mean, I don't know how many viewers we've got right now, but it's actually pretty cool. You can, I'm looking at the chat. Zeostud, as thrilling as taking down a tournament. Something, is it as thrilling as taking down a tournament in the basement in Como? No, it's not. Merkin, twitching. My wee wee is green is back. If someone is gay, so what? I agree. You Purdue, werewolf. I mean, this is real time. You guys are interacting. You guys are watching this journey with me towards the final table. And here we are. We're sitting here with, fifth and chips, 26 players left of a WSOP.com tournament. And you get to see it, live. You get to see it as it's happening and as it's unfolding. It's pretty awesome. And I think that we're just beginning to see the, what Twitch is going to be. Because right now, I mean, I'll be honest with you, this kind of hand replay, it's kind of fun and all. But it still is kind of boring, and I don't think it really takes the medium to its full potential. This delay that we are pretty much, that we pretty much have to do when we're playing a tournament like this, it cuts down on the actual interaction that you and I can have. I think that what we're going to see is, a move away from just, simple, tournament playthroughs, and we're going to see a lot of stuff with no delay. Whether that be, simple hand replays, and used as like teaching, whether it be maybe like the kind of talk shows that you hear, like the podcasts being streamed on Twitch real time, so people can talk about them and talk to guests as they're on. I think that we're really going to see the format itself expand, and what we're seeing right now is just kind of the beginning. We're all on the ground floor of this whole idea of twitching and poker, so it's kind of exciting to be here. So let's take a look at some of these other. I'm going to go ahead and shrink our. I'm going to try to shrink our. I'm going to make it so we can see the chat in the in our stream as well. So Hill and Bowman, Bubble Girls for final table in WSOP main event 2012. That was maybe one of the most disappointing things I've seen in modern poker history. E1 CNR talks about Gail Bowman and Hill, going 10th and 11th in the World Series of Poker main event in 2012.
Do you have payouts, or do you want to look at the lobbies?
Yeah, the only other time I've been as disappointed as seeing those two girls go bubble, when I think having either one of them being the November 9 would have been so transformative for poker and brought so much positive attention. I feel like when that happened, when they went bubble, it was a nightmare for everybody in poker, and everybody who have been making their living at poker basically had to reach into their pocket and just burn money, because that's what it felt like. I haven't been as disappointed since seeing Newhouse go 9th. So here we're going to go ahead and call. We call with any two, and this is any two. We're tempted to just fold here, but we're not folding. One of the reasons why we call here isn't because we're hoping to actually hit something, which we did now. Now we actually have a pair with some sort of stupid flush draw. But the reason we call is because we don't want people to think that they can steal our big blind. There's actually a lot of value here in everyone folding to us. I mean, if we get a walk, that's huge. And if everyone folds to the small blind who limps and we're able to steal it with a raise there, that's even bigger. So we're calling with any two to a min raise, and we're going to be playing some poker with this deck. And that hand turned out pretty well. It's kind of interesting because with the jack high there, there's a decent chance that we might have gotten a crazy hair up a butt and decided to check raise. So I can't really blame Death Dun for not c-betting. But in my opinion, your game plan, even with his stack size, still is to with his stack size, he's really looking at a check. He's really looking at a shove or fold stack. He's in that tween stack that we talk about. So maybe min raising and just giving up on a flop, it's still bad. When you're in a spot like he was in, where he min raised under the gun, you really wanted a continuation bet. If you get called on, just by one person, you really pretty much want a continuation bet on any flop. So we're gonna go ahead and say that was a mistake on his part, and it worked out pretty well for us. We were able to increase our stack by a good chunk there, a significant percentage of our stack, and this is why we can play poker for a living, is because people make those kind of mistakes, like giving up a situation to continuation bet. So I'm pretty sure BCM Claw is the guy that we've been kind of watching, and he hasn't really been making that many mistakes. Here, I feel like he's still raising a little too much pre-flop at this stage, but it's not that bad. He just made it 3,600, which is a 2.25 times the big blind. So he's been tapering off the same way that we've been tapering off. So far, I can't really say that he's been playing bad. I think that BCM Claw is looking just fine. We're going to go ahead and put up a little bony fish next to Death Drone and write a note that said, gave up and didn't c-bet after raising min under the gun on a jack high board. Butt Farm Poker. Dutch, this is something much bigger than poker. This is integrated virtual realities. For the first time, we have windows into other people's lives. Instead of watching TV, people are sharing their lives with others. Butt Farm, I agree with you. I think that might be the most. Everybody look at what Butt Farm Poker just said, because that might be the most profound thing we've seen in chat in quite a while. We are talking about really getting into someone else's window, someone else's life, and it really excites me, especially when you start thinking about the future of technology. When you start looking at technology platforms like the Oculus Rift, and the Gear VR, and Google Cardboard, when we really are going to be able to, get into the point of view of other people and interact with those people through platforms like Twitch, it's really an exciting time to be at the forefront of these kind of technologies. And while we're talking about this kind of stuff, I do want to give a little throw out to anarchist.com. That's anarchist.com. I'm going to go ahead and type it into into chat here, www.anarchist.com. You know, check it out. Check it out, Butt Farm Poker. That's a little company that my little brother put together, and he's building hardware and software solutions for the Oculus Rift. So he's making a big bet that that's going to go places. So here we have A6 offsuit. We don't love it. You know, we look at that and we think, not a great hand. But we're not playing it for its hand value. The ace doesn't make it strong because we're hoping that we're going to flop an ace and win a big pot. The ace makes it a little stronger than normal because it makes it less likely that someone behind us actually wakes up with a bigger ace. So, do we go 2 hands in a row? No. At this point, we're just going to go ahead and fold. I think it's you know, it's okay to, you know, it's okay not to steal 2 hands in a row. Part of me does want to steal. You know, again, part of me wants to look at Impervious as, you know, probably not going to want to play a flop with us, but we don't want to have to raise the minimum and have to call off. You know, I mean, this would have been a disaster. We would have raised the minimum. We would have probably gotten called by NV Rabbit, and BK 1048 would have shoved against us, and then we would have had to fold, and it just would have sucked. So turns out that we were right. So until we get rid of Impervious, because Impervious has a pretty good, like he's got just like a shove stack here. We're gonna try to stay away from his blinds when he's in the small blind, and or if he's in the big blind. If we're kind of on the fence about whether to steal or not, we're not going to steal. Really, who are the stacks that we go against? I would say we want to go against Death Throne. We want to go against Ben, K, and 88, and Leonidas. Not because Ben and Leonidas are weak. I mean, so far they've actually been playing pretty strong. But because they have the kind of stack sizes where we could really do some damage to them and to their equity. So I just don't feel like they're going to be playing that strongly back at us. What do we do here? Jack 3 suited. You know, here is where we, you know, get up and we give BK 1048 a great big hug for letting us get away with his hand with a little bit of face. You know, if he would have folded, we would have had to call, and we would have just hated our life. You know. Okay, good game, NV Rabbit. Let's go ahead and take a look at the lobby again. You'll see we are in 3rd place out of 25 players. We're down to 3 tables. 15 players get paid. So at this point, everybody's kind of smelling that money. You know, that's another reason why we want to kind of be a little bit aggressive towards these stacks that we can really hurt. I would say that there's a decent argument for giving this a little re-raise here. You know, this is the guy who just took down a pretty big pot with pocket kings. You know, he's kind of feeling good about having a nice stack. A re-raise would probably do the trick here. But you know what? It's never wrong to fold Jack 6 suited in the small blind. So. Shout out to you know, Slow Roller 1991, RT Kabuto, Mr. Gedge, you know, Patriot 88. Thanks for joining us this Wednesday night and checking out the stream. Again, anybody who's watching, if you're enjoying yourself, just go ahead and hit the follow button, and you know, follow me on Twitter and retweet. You know, we're trying to spread the word and get more people excited about Twitch and excited about, you know, what we're doing here. So you know, you're part of the story. You know, that's what makes Twitch so powerful. I gotta tell you guys too, it's starting to get a little late out here in Vegas. We've been playing for a while. What we're gonna start seeing is players make some mistakes. Hopefully it's not us. You know, we gotta kind of shake off the tiredness and keep awake. This is kind of when you start getting to the point where players hit a wall. and they start they start just vomiting away equity, basically. And so we're going to go ahead and raise here with a Jack 7 suited. We don't really need much of a hand to raise here, but, you know, is Leonidas, is Ben Kane really going to want to be playing big pots against us? I'm going to say no. They're not going to want to. So when Ben K and 88 raises here, this is a really tough spot. You know, he makes it 2.5 times the big blind. We're really getting the right odds to call. We have Jack 7 suited, which isn't horrible. He raised really quickly. I mean, we got to put him on like an ace king, ace queen. But, you know, let's screw it. We're going to go ahead and let him have it. You know, we're going to keep on going with this kind of small ball attitude where our goal is not to play a big pot and, you know, double through Ben K and 88. You know, our goal here is not to double through Leonidas. Our goal is to continue with this small ball, slow uphill climb. You know, and it sucks to have to give away. It sucks to have to give away 4,000 chips to Ben K and 88. But I think that, you know, the fact that we were able to get through Death Throne and Leonidas just shows that, you know, we're doing okay with this. I think that we probably. I don't think that Ben K and 88 is raising with worse. You know, I just don't think that he's sitting there with the old 8-5 offsuit and saying, here's my chance. I'm going to go ahead and make it 2.5 times the big blind against, you know, 3-time WSOP bracelet winner Dutch Boyd. I just don't see that happening, you know. So here we have pocket pair, good enough to give the min raise. An under the gun raise actually looks a lot stronger too than, you know, a hijack raise or a cutoff raise or a button raise. So, you know, this hand has a lot going for it. The fact that we're probably ahead of everybody is just one of the things it has going for it. But it's also one of those hands that we are perfectly just thrilled to be able to take it down without a flop. And all of a sudden, you know, we just see, you know, 2 hands in a row. We risk 4,000 to risk, you know, to win 4,400. One time it wins, one time it doesn't. You know, our net gain over those 2 hands is 400, which is pretty good. So here we got BCM Claw, which, you know, I like the way he's playing. I like the fact that he's making it more than he normally would pre-flop in this small blind position. And I think that we're going to go ahead and give it to him. This is, you know, most of the time we're going to call there. But because I actually think that BCM Claw is playing well, we're not going to take a shot at trying to play a big pot with him with 5-3 offsuit. I think we're going to go ahead and give him a little bit of respect because so far he's been playing well enough to deserve it. We have an all-in by Impervious. Easy fold with 10-4 off. And, yeah, good game, Impervious. You know, we'll see you next week. You know, that's how it goes. He let himself get down to 3 big blinds. He played really super tight, and you know he waited and waited and waited until he found some stupid little hand, and got it all in as a coin flip. You know, the problem with pocket twos and shoving there is he's really never getting the big blind to fold. And the best case scenario is he's just slightly ahead, you know. So, yeah, he got close. Okay, if you guys all want to see the lobby again, here it is. We're 7th out of 21, 8th out of 21 now. You know, but you know when you think about where we are, we're really. Everyone's stack is going to kind of start merging, and you're going to see everyone's stack be about the same. I mean, here, first place, Downtown John, is not that much more than where we are. You know, and then you look at 15th, Cody 10, who can definitely do some damage to us. So pretty much everybody in this tournament is 2 bad hands from being knocked out. You know, I'm sure that there's some real small stacks that... you know, if we start going down to like 21 and 20th, there's a few. Yeah, I did. So there's a few people with like 6 big blinds, 7 big blinds. Those are the short stacks. Okay, wow. See, this is unexpected. We've been watching BCM Claw just play pretty flawlessly, and then we see Leonidas just somehow just explode and shove all in pre-flop. I don't really know how to explain that. I really don't. Yeah, and BCM Claw claims to have Ace King, but that's a bit expensive. Do we believe him? Yeah, I would lay down Ace King there. I don't think that I'm calling this type of stack with Ace King offsuit against Leonidas just shoving. Honestly, I just don't think I am. I think that I'd probably give Leonidas. I mean, there he is just shoving 40 big blinds. I mean, I don't understand that one because so far I feel like Leonidas has kind of been playing a little, pretty well. But I just don't think that was a good move. No matter what he had, I just don't think it's a good move. So Turkfish, thanks for joining the stream. He asks, how did you get involved in poker? What is your story? Excellent question. If you're interested, I would invite you to go ahead and check out my book, Poker Tilt. I've been playing poker for a living for, the better part of 15 years. And, have been having some, pretty good success. I got 3 World Series of Poker bracelets. About $2.5 million in tournament earnings. So, here we are. We're going to go ahead and give this a half-pot bet and hope that Death Throne doesn't have a king. Well, that's going to be it for our hero here. We're not going to go ahead and put Death Throne to the test. We're just going to go ahead and check and assume that he's got us beat, which he does. So that hurts a little bit, but we're happy with how we played it. Again, I think that Death Throne should have went ahead and gone for the C-bet on the flop. It worked out pretty well for him because he got us to fire out a half pot size bet that he wouldn't have otherwise gotten if he had.